Hello, friends. I'm here with today's episode. Today's topic is going to be family businesses. And what I'm going to talk today about is about the age and generational issues in a family business. Because as younger generations come in, we've talked on some of it already, which I will be mentioning today. But there are a lot of challenges that need to be addressed for a successful transition when the new, or shall we say, the rising generation comes into the family business. So growing up in a family business has many advantages. And I'm sure you ask any of your children who are in the family business, whose families are in business, will agree with that. But it is certainly not easy, though it has many benefits. I think the biggest benefit is that from a very young age, they learn to imbibe, they start imbibing business knowledge and acumen. And that makes them very sharp in the business arena. So you will notice that they are always, people from family businesses are always very smart when it comes to business discussions, business thoughts, business decisions. Also, it prepares you for success in life. You have seen successful family members conducting the business all your life, and therefore you are prepared, you are geared up for success in life. And most importantly, when you're working in a family business, even if you're staying as a single family unit, you understand family unity. Okay, because at least at work, you have seen that your father, your uncle, your grandfather, your cousins, they are all working together with clear understanding. And therefore, you understand family unity and its importance very well. And you get hands-on experience. You're constantly interacting with your family. You're constantly listening to conversations of business, because business doesn't stay in the office always. Trust me, it comes home. Trust me, I know of so many families that when there are very important things to discuss, they will not discuss it in the office. They'll all meet at one of the family members' place. And they will understand family legacy, because at the end of the day, a family business inherently, whether you want it or not, builds a legacy, even more so if you are highly successful. If you are super successful, the legacy is super rich, and therefore you understand how that legacy works. However, as always, there are hidden, often invisible hurdles to this complex family. Family situations are very complex, trust me. I've worked with a lot of families to resolve family issues, to resolve generational issues, to resolve how to bring new generations and make them comfortable. I've worked with quite a few families on those aspects. And therefore, what I'm talking here is from experience. There are many invisible hurdles. You may not even know they are hurdles, but they exist. Or rather, you know they are hurdles, but you don't realize that there are hurdles that exist. Okay, and family situations are invariably complex, because at the end of the day, although the business may be run by just say 3 members of a family, when it goes home, when you go home, there are 6 or 8 family members. 6 meaning I generally assume that they're married, and therefore the 3 partners have their 3 wives. They may have the parents staying with them. They may have a couple of children who are elder, big enough to understand what is happening. And therefore, those situations become highly complex. And these hurdles are not unsurmountable. It's not that you can never address these hurdles. As I said, I've worked with families where I have addressed these hurdles, where we have sat down and we managed to find very workable resolutions that have been working for quite a few years already. And what you need is the right understanding of the human strength and skills. Just because today you are capable of doing something with utmost expertise, say you're an expert at accounting, it doesn't mean that the next generation, even if it's your son who comes in, has to be great at accounting. No, he may be great at marketing. So understand human strengths and skills. And once you understand that, imbibing the younger generation will become much more easier. Now, what kind of hurdles can one face? I think we've talked about this in a couple of episodes, ownership and leadership transition to the next generation. So in this talk, I'm not going to really delve on this. We know, I think I have expressed my thoughts on this in a good amount of detail. And if you still have any questions, feel free to write to me or message me. Then there is a lot of challenge about negative self-narratives. Because the previous generation has done so well, there are negative narratives that creep into the rising generation's mind. And this happens very often. In fact, all the families that I consulted with, there were 5 or 4 of them where I consulted on this, they all have a hazy path to thriving. Generally, what happens is that a family business starts with maybe just 2 brothers or something. Okay. And therefore, the 2 of them are constantly discussing and taking up opportunities that come their way without having a focused path or vision. But they're successful because they're taking the opportunities that are sure to bring them success. But in the long run, this does not work. There is a lack of individual identity. Everything is associated with the business, and the weight of the surname that you carry is substantial. Then, of course, there is always the pressure to succeed and measure up. You have to measure up into your father, grandfather, uncle, whoever before you has done or achieved super success. And this is very, very important, this is the backbone of a business, but even then, for rising generations, access to unearned wealth, access to inherited wealth can lead to severe challenges. So we need to be aware of these hurdles and we need to find a way of addressing them. We are going to first look at about these hurdles and how they are hurdles. And then in the next session, next week on the 31st of January, I will talk about how these hurdles can be addressed and how the younger generation, the rising generation that is coming, can also participate and take care that these hurdles are eliminated from their list. So ownership and leadership transition to the next generation. As I said, we've discussed enough about that. I'm not going to discuss that. Negative self-narratives. What is this all about? So one of the ways for parents, for the elder generation to solve this is to make sure that younger generation gets the proper education. Okay. If you get a proper education, then the negative self-narrative will automatically dissolve, will fade away. Celebrate their successes and achievements and appreciate them, even if they are not related to business. As I said, your son may be good at marketing, but in the same way, your son may be great at music. Appreciate it. Don't tell him that forget about music, it's not going to help you in business. No, that's not the right way to go about it. Appreciate his music, appreciate his skill, appreciate the talent that he has, and it does not have to be a business-related talent. Encourage them to take up hobbies. This is very important because then they're getting a broader look. And if somebody is really passionate about his hobbies, he will find networks within those hobbies, which will help him to spread and create his own narrative. Hazy path to thriving. As I said, more often than not, family business don't have a vision spelled out, okay, unless they become too big. But by that time, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 generations have already been in the business without knowing where they're going. So set up and develop a vision for the business from the very early stages. Don't wait till the 4th generation comes in, where then there are 10 players and try to develop a vision. Because by that time, people are getting so comfortable in the zone of working without a vision. As long as you are making money, that is not going to last you long. Get a buy-in to the vision from every generation that comes in, from the younger generations. It is very important. because a vision is not something that changes every day. So get a buy-in. Start imbibing the value and what is the philosophy and principle behind the vision that you have created. Okay. Yes, in extreme cases, it may be necessary to change the vision. Go ahead and do it, but make sure it is justified. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. But no, the strategy that you have created to follow your vision might need tweaking. It might need, very frankly, it might need tweaking even without a younger generation coming in, because circumstances change, the world changes, and therefore the strategy would need to change. But this change or tweak, as I call it, is even more important when the younger generation comes in. Because surely somebody who is 30 years younger than you, 25 years younger than you, has a different thought process. He has been brought up differently. You might have studied in college in, say, Mumbai. Your son, you might have sent him to study to the London School of Economics, say, in London, or to Syracuse in the US. Their thought processes are very different from your thought processes. So a tweak in strategy might be necessary, though not a tweak in the vision. The vision of the business is something that is long lasting. And if you create it in the early stages and it is there till the next generation or the generation after that comes in, the vision has gone through and been tested for its validity. But the strategy, as I said, needs or may need a tweaking. And that, as I said, I repeat again, it may need a tweaking even without the new generation coming in. So please be prepared for that. Please be open to that. Don't close your mind saying that, no, I have decided this and this is what we are going to do. That never gets you anywhere. Lack of individual identity. This is a major problem in a lot of businesses. Okay. So you have to encourage the younger generation to develop an identity that is individualistic. It has to be that person's own identity, and it has to be separate from the family wealth, and from the family business. He should be able to walk into a room and say, I am so and so. He doesn't need to go there and say, I am so and so, whether he emphasizes on the surname and that I am coming from this business. And naturally, he doesn't have to say it. He's not going to say it, but he shouldn't bank on his wealth, giving him recognition and respect in the room. Individual identity is very, very important, because that is one of the prime principles, a core principle of personal development. When you talk of personal development, individual identity is very, very, very important. It is an ongoing process. Developing your identity, developing your individual identity is a process that never stops. It's going to go on for your life. You're going to change. Trust me, your identity in school was not the same as your identity in college, is not going to be the same as your identity in business, is not going to be the same when you retire. It's going to change, and you are going to change your profiles all the time. When you're in school, you're a student, you may learn to play cricket, hockey, football, you may become an athlete, anything. When you're in college, you might follow one of those going to the next level, or maybe, as I know in my case as well as many other cases, you forget about all that and become a great bridge player or become a great chess player. So your identity is going to change, but you have to make sure that it is individual and it applies to you. You have to sort of brand yourself with that identifier, although the branding will change over a period of time. Okay. Once you're in business, yes, you're a strategist, you're a marketing guy, you're great to interact, you're a deal maker, various things that will come into it. And when you retire, you'll probably be known as the guy who's paying back to society. The best way to be known actually after retiring. Pay back to society. Give your time for things that matter, not only to you and your family, but to the world on a larger platform. So develop your personality, individual personality. And as I said, it's an ongoing process. And one of the challenges is that young adults, younger generation, when they grow up and come into either your business or work anywhere else, they are so often burdened by the family name, the surname, the family name, and the family reputation. And that burden can be pretty damaging. So there has to be a way to address this. And what happens when you're burdened by your family name and family reputation is that you lose confidence in yourself, in your own capabilities, in your own skills. Okay. And quite often you will wonder whether the recognition you are getting is because you are that good and that you have done a great job, or you've put in your efforts which have been very successful, or is it just that your last name is making you get all those accolades? Or is it your wealth that is getting you those accolades? So while the name is important, I think you need to teach the youngsters to make sure that they realize their skills, they appreciate their skills, they realize their skills, and they have confidence in their own skills and abilities. Pressure to succeed and measure up. This is undeniably true in every family business, not only business, in every family in the world. Okay. Everybody wants to step into their father's shoes. Whereas kids, that was very easy because your feet were small enough to get into them. And the only danger there was tripping and nothing else. But then it becomes difficult when you have to fit into those big shoes and not just walk those small toddler steps, but take strides. Tripping is easier, and tripping is more dangerous, more difficult at that time. So you have to fit into big shoes, and naturally, always, when the bar is higher, depending on how your previous earlier generations have fared, when the bar is set high, for you to match up to that, for you to sit and get into those shoes, the fear of failure is also that high. So the higher the bar, the fear of failure is also higher, more severe. And more often than what not happens is that when people have achieved success, say your father or your grandfather has achieved success, he has achieved success in those times in a certain narrow frame. But today the world has expanded. That same narrow frame probably no longer even exists. So that narrow definition of success that has been handed down to you is actually going to harm you. It's not going to help you. So you need to be able to understand that and expand the definition of success for the younger generation. And it can be a very heavy burden. Sorry, this thing of fear of failure, the narrow view of success can be a very heavy burden for the rising generation members. Access to unearned wealth. This is inevitable, especially in India. Every father is saving, scrimping, doing everything so that they can give or leave a lot of wealth for their children. For me, it only tells me all the time is that that father has no faith in his children's ability. Or, sorry to say, but that father has not bothered to train the child in such a way that he can stand on his own 2 feet. And that is really bad. So inherited wealth from the previous generation's success can lead to a lot of other problems. Will be ego, he'll be a snob, he'll be a brat. There are so many things that can happen. So inherited wealth from a previous generation's success is not always a great thing. Successful business creators are those who turn their ideas into gold. And if you have a successful family business, it was because somebody of your ancestors, somebody, your father, your grandfather, your uncle, your granduncle, somebody got an idea which turned into gold. It can be something as simple as packing and marketing masalas. And we know the success stories of some So a small thing which becomes a huge thing. Okay. And those successes can be very impressive, no doubt, but they can be crushing for the rising generation because everybody is going to judge them or expect them to live up to that success. Okay. So the previous generation's wealth creation can become something that makes the younger generations helpless. And they start thinking that their own achievements are not going to ever match those. And therefore they stop trying. They just give up. What can be worse than that? So you need to make sure that the younger generation understands this. Make sure that the younger generation understands that it's not always about that one big idea, but it can be about 10 small ideas that will take your business from level A to level A plus plus plus. So that is something that you need to do. Another challenge with inherited wealth is that common tasks are often done for the younger generation. And therefore, they do not understand the nitty-gritty and the ropes of the business completely. Not a bad thing, but you have to make sure that they learn those ropes when they step in. And that is your duty as the elder generation to make sure that the younger generation understands the business and all its nuances in totality. That's very important. And also, when there is too much inherited wealth, and I think all of us must have seen it at some place or the other, there's a lack of financial need. Okay, he has enough money to live by. His father has left him lots of money. He doesn't have to worry. So there's a lack of financial need to work. And what happens then? He loses all motivation to work. So one of the main motivations we will all agree for work in general with 90%, 95% of the people is the fact that they have to earn money to sustain a living. So a lack of financial need to work will make motivation falter. We have to remember certain things. One of the most important things to remember is that a resilient family business, okay, that has intrinsically means because of the very definition of it, it's a family business. And therefore, some of the key stakeholders are family members. Okay, so running a family business successfully relies not only on managing strategy, people, products, and profitability and distribution and all of those business aspects, but it also depends on the interpersonal and psychological space of being a family. So, actually it is much easier to handle strategy, people, product, etc. But handling the nuances of human relationship, especially when you're family, can be daunting. And that is an art that we need to make sure that the younger generation, especially in families who are in business, need to be taught up from very early stages. It's necessary in all families, whether you're in business or not. Okay. You have to be sensitive to the other family's needs, wishes, whatever way of talking. But sorry, at the end of the day, that interpersonal relationships, the psychological approach to those relationships of being a family are very, very important. And if you have a capable, confident, and self-determining rising generation from all that I have said, trust me, you have the right person to pass the baton on. Okay, whom you can leave the responsibility and the leadership very happily, very confidently, very peacefully, because that person with all these attributes will help to ensure durability and prosperity of your family enterprise. Trust me, this is the way to do it. Next week, as I said, since the next session is also going to be about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I have not included today, but next week we are going to look at how to address these hurdles, how the younger generation take a proactive approach to making sure that they become the right baton holders for the race. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you're enjoying it. Please do send in your comments. I'm enjoying the comments that I've been listening from some of them. I have responded to those whom I had an answer for. I am still working on some of the answers. I will respond to you in due course. But thank you. Have a great day. Just to let you know, I have not yet decided how I'm going to do my session of leadership on Friday, because Friday is the 26th and it's a national holiday. So I might either do it tomorrow or on the 27th. I don't know what, but you will be messaged and you will be informed on whatever I decide. Okay. Thank you. Have a great evening. Have a great day tomorrow, and we'll see you soon.